When I was 9 years old, I didn't have many friends. Actually, I didn't have any at all. I was an introvert, and my days would pass and I would just go to school and get back home. Also, I was good at school, so I wouldn't study a lot and therefore I would pass more time alone. I have no memory at all of playing with my parents in the afternoons, and to this day I am still amazed at how capable I was of being alone and being well since such a young age. This is something that I appreciate a lot nowadays, because I don't need anything or anyone to be fully happy. Since a very young age, every time I would hear a skateboard, something really strong would resonate deep inside myself, something would click on my brain. And it was then, at 9 years of age, when I decided to start skateboarding. My days changed. Now I would go to school, and after it, I would try to skate the most that I could. I didn't make many friends skating either. I was a little kid, and they were all older than me, and well, if it was hard for me to make friends with people my age, imagine with people who doubled or even tripled my age. I progressed really fast, but when I started to get stuck, as I had no friends to skate with, I started to get bored. In addition, an injury appeared on my left knee that made it swell every time I exercised, and if I hit the swollen area, it would hurt a lot. Over time, I went skating less, and above all, I was getting more and more bored. Every time I had less desire to go. But just like skateboarding, there was something else that clicked in my brain, that resonated deep inside myself. Basketball. I'm not gonna lie to you, a nail drives out another. I didn't quit skateboarding just because I was bored, or because I did not have friends, or because I had an injury. Basketball appeared in the equation, and as I had acquired an advanced level of skateboarding, it became pure monotony due to the lack of progression and pain. And well, I am a person who loves to learn, and with basketball, I had a long way to go. In my case, I was good at skating, but I was stuck. On the other hand, basketball was great, because I was one of the tallest in the class, and I was really agile for my size. But not only that, with time I discovered that I also was fast, and what captivated me the most was my ability to jump. Basketball ignited a spark inside of me that gradually got bigger. At first, it was difficult because it was a team sport and I played alone. As you will understand, the first bump on the road was a social issue, but a classmate named Manu began to play, and another boy who entered the school called Alex started playing too. It was like destiny or something. Moreover, this kid named Alex became my best friend, and it still is to this day, and he is possibly the person who helped me the most to be an outgoing individual and have more confidence in myself. The second bump on the road came because I don't know what kind of education parents gave to 12-year-old kids in Spain, but basically the coolest was the one who played soccer the best, and some who didn't have a single neuron, called as fags or gays for playing basketball. I remember 2 different days in which they all came, and by all I mean like 10-12 kids from class, and as the 3 of us didn't play football anymore, they told us those words that I mentioned before. Another day they started messing with my ball and they screwed it up. But we made noise. The kids who were tired of soccer came to play basketball with us, and we were always between 3 and 6 kids, sometimes even more. Alex, Manu and I joined the club, and my days improved drastically. I was still doing well at school, and Alex always came home after class to go training because he lived far away. And speaking the other day with my mother, I realized that those 3-4 years were the best years of my life. In a short period of time, there were 3 things that caught my attention within basketball. The 3 is the ability to get away from someone through the dribble, and most importantly, the dunks and the jumping ability required for this. Due to my ability to learn by observation, I imitated very well, so I learned very quickly the mechanics of shooting and dribbling. The ability to jump, however, was innate. I was not a prodigy, but I jumped a little, even a lot more than most of my teammates. Over time I tried to improve my jumping power without weights and polish my technique, but I did not improve much because genetically I was already at my natural limit without weights. All these skills were adding up to being a better basketball player, but where there was a big change in my confidence was when I had my growth spurt. Generally I was very tall, and after a summer I got to 5'8" at 13-14 years old. And when I saw my teammates again, I realized I was half a head taller than those who were as tall as me before the summer. My father's whole family was very tall, so this gave me many opportunities in basketball at a professional level, since despite being tall I dominated my dribble, my shot and my body in general, which meant that if I was going to be between 6'2", 6'6", I was going to, for a long time, be able to strengthen the skills necessary for those positions. With that growth spurt, I was finally able to grab the rim, and my only goals were to score more and more 3s per game and get a dunk. But my dreams collapsed. Over the time, I realized that I had stopped growing, since in the following years my teammates of the same height continued to grow, and I stayed at 5'10" at 14-15 years old. The truth is that since it is so difficult to become a professional, and it was clear to me that if one thing failed, I would no longer be able to be part of the small percentage. I overcame it quite quickly. What has been harder for me to overcome with the years is the hate. I never got to make a dunk. My arms were and are short. My shooting position is lower. This does not matter to me at all because individually my shot was and is very good. The only thing I have to shoot faster. And I had always been tall and suddenly I had an average size. But I have always been a person who has loved to learn and improve, and there is something that I have not said. I was part of a team, but I was still alone. On the afternoons and weekends that I did not have training, I spent them alone shooting threes and going to low rims to do dunks. And do not think that I had a bad time, neither skateboarding nor playing basketball. On the contrary, I prefer that to being locked up at home. Looking at it from my perspective, I was adapted to being alone. That was my daily life. I just needed my ball on my skateboard. But then the decline came. I was very skinny, so I got hurt easily. They were no long injuries, but some sprained ankles, and especially as I jumped so high, sometimes some stupid players would destabilize me in the air, and I would eat shit like crazy. The club where I played was starting to make strange decisions. In fact, the year I left, my favorite coach to this day, Sasa, who taught me how to shoot, changed to another club. But why did I quit? I will already tell you that the injuries were not a compelling reason. I had certain problems with my coach at that time and with the club. If I started to tell you now, this video would be around 20-30 minutes, and it's not the plan. My last pro season came in 2015-2016, and my friend Carl, who you will see soon on the channel, got me some tryouts at his club. I passed them and the summer arrived. At the beginning of that summer, I dislocated my ankle while skating. The quote, "hard work pays off," always resonated in my head. Today it actually is "smart hard work pays off," because I did a really silly thing that summer. Without me knowing the seriousness of my injury, that is to say, without knowing that I had almost broken my ankle, I spent the whole summer training like crazy, 3 to 4 hours a day, my jump and speed, as well as my skills on the court. Agility drills on the beach at 30-40 degrees, an immense amount of sprints that many times made me want to vomit, and countless hours on the court. And all this for what? A question that my 16-year-old self asked at that time. I was no longer thinking about making my first dunk or being a better three-point shooter. I was no longer happy. I just wanted rebounds. I just wanted my new team to face my previous team in order to show what I was capable of. And that's when I decided to quit. I decided to rehab my ankle and start high jump because jumping is still fascinating me. In fact, in less than a month, I was jumping more than the Spain champion in my category, but I also quit. But that's another story. I went back to skating. I had many injuries that took my head through endless ups and downs until I had the most recent one that disabled me for more than a year and several months. And when I was finally able to return, the fucking quarantine arrived. When it was over, I went through one of the worst moments of my life. Yes, when it was over. I have already told you that I'm very good at being alone. What happened to me this past year is irrelevant, but one day I will make a video about it. I didn't want to do anything, I had no clear objective, but I remember the dunk. And I remember all the times I promised myself that I would achieve the dunk. The injury I had was in the foot, and when I skated again, it turned out that I was not well at all. And just like basketball rescued me from skateboarding, then skateboarding rescued me from basketball, and this time, basketball returned to rescue me from skateboarding. One fine day in July 2020, I took the basketball and decided to walk to a nearest court to shoot. My happiness had returned. My healthy ambitions, such as working for the dunk or for more threes, had returned. And I decided to start documenting it. And since then, I can say that I'm back. Wait. That bit is from October 2020. I started playing in July 2020. As the days went by, I became more and more interested in dunking and decided to start working to achieve the goal. So first of all, welcome to the channel. I'm Mike. How are you doing? And secondly, welcome to episode 0 of the dunk journey. And to begin, we had to go back a few weeks from these previous clips. I started training at home because the gyms were closed and my goal was to start the dunk journey. That was my main goal. The truth is that I had very high expectations since I thought that training with resistance bands would help me achieve a considerable increase in my jumping ability. I already tell you that it wasn't like that, like at all.
is it game over?
However, in terms of back strength, I did improve it a bit, and the push-ups with the bands and vests also helped me a lot. I have to say that I also like the handstand push-ups by leaning in the wall.
Eso es para que bueno. Para que bueno eso. Para que bueno eso.
And I also started stretching daily. I knew that with the strength work, I was going to need at least a month to notice gains, but I had faith that with the stretching, I would gain plasticity and therefore jump. But as you will see, it was not like that.
Sorry, I feel no attraction and now that it's been a bit. 'Cause I've been so long, so long. Hey. 'Cause I've been so long, so long. Hey. 'Cause I've been so long, so long. Hey.
These were my results. To be honest, quite frustrating, right? Not because of the idea of profit, but because I had to admit the reality that I already saw coming from before, and it is that with resistance bands, I was going to be able to do little progress because my shoulders started too hard already from the marks that they left on me, you know, when doing like squats with resistance bands, they leave like marks on your shoulders and they hurt a lot. But yeah, it was like 2 or 3 weeks of training before these jumps, and what I thought was going to give me more vertical was a stretching every day, and yet that plasticity did not transfer to my vertical at all. But hey, gotta start somewhere, right? The truth is that I didn't even start because I saw that it was absurd to train like that, so I stopped training. I stopped strength training, if you can call that strength training, until I got into the gym back in December, January, and I was just jumping and shooting until then, you know. As I tell you, this is where it all started. Now I'm posting this in May 2021. I have quite a few recorded videos from my journey, and I can assure you that I've gained a lot of vertical jump, like a lot. Who knows? I hope that with that first spoiler, I encourage you all to subscribe to join me on this young journey. And this is the first video, people. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, give it a like. And if you did not like it, give it a dislike. But please comment what you did not like so I can improve. Obviously, I am always going to prioritize my vision, but I am open to changes and above all to improve. Also, if you're going to comment you're ugly, you have the problem. Like, block the channel. There are more channels about basketball on YouTube. Block the channel. And same thing, if you don't like my way of saying things or my personality, block the channel. There are a lot of YouTube channels, like no problem for me, for real. And if you liked it, comment on it too, please. My goal with these videos is to motivate all those who have not done a dunk yet, just like me. Time to say goodbye, guys. I will see you in the next video of this dunk journey. I'll see you soon.
Because you've been